Hi, it's Rob and Sandra with my wife, the Dietitian, and we are here with our weekly mini series, Nutrition Nuggets. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Rob.
How's it going?
Great.
Awesome. So we have a question this week from a listener.
Good.
Yeah, Susan in Albuquerque. She likes her tuna. It's the only fish she likes. And she's heard there's some issues with eating a lot of tuna because of the mercury, and she's wondering how much or how often she can eat tuna.
Great question. Yeah. I get that asked all the time, actually, because I always talk about trying to get more omega-3s and eating fish at least twice a week. And a lot of people I talk to say, tuna is the only fish I like. I won't eat any other fish.
Right. Fish is a tough one because, I mean, there's so many different ways. You can get it in a can. You can buy it raw, like you're eating sushi. You can get it, like prepare it from its fresh state. There's a bunch of different ways. And so a lot of people are only familiar with eating it out of a can on their sandwich or something. So yeah, I can see why they're concerned.
Well, there are so many mixed messages out there about fish, and there's all the benefits of good nutrition and the fish oils, the omega-3s. And then at the same time, they're issuing warnings for pregnant women and children about the level of methylmercury, which can be a heavy metal in a lot of the fish. So yeah, it's a good question. And I'm really glad she asked it because I think a lot of people, I've actually had that question quite a bit. We do a pregnancy group, and that's a big topic, is the benefits of omega-3 on brain health, but then the risk of the heavy metals in various fish. So we're going to cover what fish might be higher level of mercury, and we'll also discuss the weighing the risk benefits.
There's a lot to know, apparently.
Yeah. And actually, it's interesting because in last month, February 2023, there was a consumer report that came out and exposed that some canned tuna products contain higher than normal mercury levels and posed a risk to people who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or children.
Wow.
So some of the common tuna brands, Bumblebee, Chicken of the Sea, Starkist, Safe Catch, and Wild Planet, all contained higher than usual mercury levels in some cans, despite the brand's average low levels.
Oh, wow. I wonder why. I guess it doesn't matter. It's good to be aware of that.
Well, and the thing is, mercury is in our environment because it's emitted into the atmosphere because of industrial activities and volcanic eruptions, and it can get directly into the ocean and accumulates in marine life. So there's a biomagnification effect with the bigger fish have higher levels of methylmercury, which is the kind that builds up in humans over time.
So it sounds like depending on the environment they're fishing in, it can vary from time to time.
Yeah, and it's more about the long-term exposure of high levels of mercury rather than like mercury poisoning.
Yeah, like from eating one fish, you don't have to worry. But if you're eating fish regularly that's full of mercury, then that's going to accumulate in your body over time.
Exactly. And it can impair motor and memory skills and focus, can lead to anxiety, depression, brain fog. You can get higher risk of diabetes and arthritis and different
health conditions.
So Susan likes tuna. That's her only fish that she will eat.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, and there are different size tuna. So different types of tuna have less mercury buildup. So the ones that she should aim to buy are the skipjack or the light canned tuna.
They're the ones that have less mercury in them.
That's right.
Okay.
Versus the albacore, yellowfin, or big eye tuna.
Okay.
Or the ahi.
The ahi tuna?
Yeah, which is in the sushi, the raw tuna in sushi.
So should you not eat the big ones then? Or if you're going to, don't eat them very often? I think that's where the confusion is. People don't know which ones are okay to eat and how often they can eat any kind of tuna.
Right. And it's probably not daily is a good rule of thumb. Adults with those ones I mentioned, the warnings are 2 servings a week. for adults.
That's for the big ones.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for women and women that are pregnant and breastfeeding, 2 servings a month. And for children, it's 1 serving a month of the higher level mercury fish.
Let's call it big fish and little fish. So the little fish are what you want to try to include and sort of avoid the bigger ones. I read a thing that said there was this tuna, like, I think it was it the yellow? No, the bluefin? One of them.
The big eye or a yellowfin?
I don't know. One of the big finned tunas. It was like, what did I say? 2,000 pounds? Like just massive.
Like the size of a horse.
Yeah.
Holy.
Just huge, big things. So yeah, that's when they say a big ocean fish, that's what they're talking about. Because there's some fishermen, we live in a fishing town, and some of the fishermen will be like, oh, I caught a big fish last week. It was 50 pounds.
Wow.
You know, and yeah, that's big for a salmon, but that's pretty small in the big picture.
Of the tuna, you mean in the tuna picture?
In the fish world, that's considered a small fish still. So just putting things in perspective. Yeah.
And do you remember the reason we should include fish more often?
Because of the omega-3s, the oils, omega-3 fatty acids. Is that what it's called?
You got it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And fish is a good alternative to red meat in our meals often. And it has B vitamins and protein and selenium and those fish oils, the omega-3s that are really important. And the fish oils have these unique benefits for our brain health and heart health. We talked about them on the food and mood in the nutrition nuggets recently between episode 59 and 60. And then also in the mind diet, episode 14, we were talking about how fish oils are so key for brain health.
They're good for your skin too, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so.
So the interesting thing is tuna contains selenium, and it's a micro mineral that's really important for our health. And there is a link with a deficiency of selenium can cause problems with our brain and our heart and our immune function. And actually our thyroid function won't work properly without enough selenium.
Oh, really?
And we're going to be talking to our guest dietitian next week on thyroid dysfunction.
Alicia Nicely. Yes. Thyroid expert, we'll call her.
Yeah. And the cool thing about selenium is it's a micromineral, and it's essential for a lot of the functions in our body because it's an antioxidant. And so a deficiency of selenium can be linked to autoimmune diseases like arthritis, prostate cancer, breast cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease. And the ocean is a rich source of selenium. Like the oceans are rich in selenium. And so ocean fish are one of the most abundant sources in our diet of selenium. And since tuna is the most commonly eaten fish, a lot of people are getting their selenium from tuna.
Oh, interesting. So you want it for the selenium, but you don't want to eat too much of it because it's got mercury in it. So,
but there's a selenium mercury connection. So if the fish has more selenium than mercury or the same amount, they bind because they have they're both metals and they have a high affinity and bind together. So the mercury is not bioavailable for our body to take in if there's enough selenium.
Oh, interesting. Like the selenium kind of blankets the mercury and doesn't let it out?
Yeah, it blinds it. It's like a lock and key.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. I like hearing when things do like have that kind of relationship.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's actually a quote from NOAA in 2011. Do you remember what NOAA stands for?
No idea.
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. That should be on the tip of my tongue.
That's right.
You'd think, right?
NOAA. Anyways, they said selenium is the key to understanding mercury exposure risks. Scientists discovered that if a body has sufficient selenium to maintain proper function, the risks from heavy metal mercury are mitigated.
Oh, interesting. So if you keep a good level of selenium in your diet, because selenium is a mineral?
It's a micromineral.
So it's stored in your body.
Yes.
Right. So if you have a good amount of selenium, then it will kind of combat any mercury that's coming
the heavy
in.
metal. Exactly.
Is it just mercury or other heavy metals? Probably just, well, let's just say mercury for now.
I'm not sure. That's a good question, Rob. I know with the mercury, see, metals sometimes like they have similar cofactors. And so if you have too much of one, you won't get enough of another.
Right.
So these two bind together. So then your body can't access the mercury.
Right. Didn't selenium, I remember talking about it in episode 3 or 4. Didn't it have some effect on something else as well?
Yes. So it's vitamin E.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So vitamin E actually is, it protects it from oxidation because selenium's a mineral, and you know how minerals rust?
Right.
Well, vitamin E is an antioxidant that helps protect the selenium from rusting.
Oh.
Not really rusting, but it causing free radicals in our body. So yeah, it's really, it's all connected, really.
It sure sounds that way, yeah.
But it's almost Mother Nature's way of saying, fish is okay because if you have enough selenium, so consumption of fish high in selenium provides a natural protection against mercury toxicity.
And how do we know if it's high in selenium?
If it's from the ocean. So
Okay.
ocean fish are one of the most abundant
I
sources.
see. Okay.
So most of the fish that we mentioned are from the ocean. So if the fish has more selenium, like a greater level of selenium than mercury, then it's like pretty much neutralized.
That's super cool.
So the oceans are rich in selenium, and most ocean fish have more selenium than mercury content. So we're looking at cod, flounder, grouper,
Grouper or groper?
sorry.
Maybe not groper.
Grouper, halibut, pollock, salmon, snapper, skipjack, sole. So all of those have higher levels of selenium than mercury, and so they're actually fine to eat and a good idea because of the fish oils.
Oh, interesting. Do you know what James Brown's favorite fish is?
No, what's that?
It's sole.
Ah, right. Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
A little fish humor for you.
Yeah, you got some soul too.
Me? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like my soul.
That's actually what fish and chips
You can't see me
are.
dancing right now.
Yeah.
If we had a video going, you'd see me dancing.
Oh, we should do a video then.
Right? Shaking my, what was that Buddha thing you said the other day?
Buddhify.
Buddhify. I'm doing my Buddhify. Shaking my soul.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's what fish and chips is usually, sole or
you're
cod
right. Ah,
or halibut.
that's true. Yeah, soul. Very good.
Well, hopefully we answered Susan's question, and twice a week is okay. And for everybody else, try to have a variety of different fish and you can include seafood too to get those omega-3 fatty acids. So
Yeah, exactly. And avoid the bigger types of tuna if possible.
exactly. Yeah, and sardines and salmon and crab, oysters, lobster, mussels, shrimp, tilapia. Those are all good. And grouper.
Grouper.
And
Groper. Grouper and groper. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully that gave everyone a bit of information on how to eat your tuna and how not to eat your tuna. We'll be back next Monday, as we said, with our special guest, Alicia Nicely, who's just a wealth of information about thyroid, everything thyroid. So that's a really interesting episode to tune into. And in the meantime, check out YouTube. Unless you're listening to this on YouTube and then you're already there, you don't need to check out YouTube. But yeah, if you are, thanks for checking it out. If you're not, go check it out. Facebook, Instagram, you can email us your questions like Susan did at mywifetherd@gmail.com. You can also check out our website. There's lots of interesting things there. mywifethedietitian.com. Anything else, Sandra?
I guess for a review, they'd have to go to the podcast provider. I don't think they can do that on the YouTube.
Well, you can give us a like. You can give us one of those big thumbs up.
Yeah,
Leave us a comment if you want. Say hi.
that'd be great. Love to hear from you.
Yeah, don't be shy. All right, everyone, have a good week. We'll talk to you next Monday. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.